Hello, beautiful people. I hope all is well. I hope all is well. It is a shame that I am wearing a turtleneck in mid June, damn near end of June. However, that is what the weather has served us in New York City. So it is what it is. If you are new to my page, my name is Allison. I am a certified dating and relationship coach, and I primarily work with busy professional women to help them to attract and keep the partners that they deserve. And the ways that I do that is through my coaching program called The Partner You Deserve, as well through master classes, as well through retreats. And we have a special treat of all treats today. So many of you may have never even heard of what a dating or relationship coach is, right? You may have never even thought of the idea of working with a dating coach to meet your relationship goals. If you have been single for a significant period of time, you've been having a hard time on the dating scene, you may have not realized that a dating coach is someone that you could work with to get to your results. And so with that being said, this is a relatively new industry, and you really don't see a lot of people in it, and you don't see a lot of people in the front. In the front, right? Like you don't see a lot of people who are forthcoming about working with a coach. So we are so lucky. I am so lucky and I am so grateful because I actually have a former client of mine who is here to give us a tell-all around the dating experience, working with a dating coach to give us the inside track. And I just noticed I forgot my notes. This is the life of having two children under two, taking care of one of them while working. I absolutely forgot my notes. So I am, I'm going to just have to freestyle it because I do not want to get up and show you guys. I mean, I don't pants, but I don't want to show you guys what I have on beyond this. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. I have the amazing Kristen, who's a former client of mine. She is now in a healthy, happy relationship where she is engaged to be married, and she had before dating, now in a committed relationship, going through the coaching program and all of the things. So Kristen is joining us in just a few. Hey,
How are you?
this is the first time that I've seen your
I know.
face. We've talked on the phone, we've texted, we've DM'd, we've used every form, voice note, but this is the first time I've seen you live, and I'm so happy to see you.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm excited to be here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely,
Okay,
absolutely. And I
great.
will respect your time. 6:30 is like the earliest I can get started because World War III is from like 6 to 9 every day.
I
And so, but
understand.
then like 6 to 6:30 is dangerous. So I'm like, okay, I need to comb my hair. I need to put on some lip gloss. Then Rogue wanted to be on the live with us. Like, it's a lot. So I'm still gonna respect your time and let
Oh,
you out by 7 o'clock.
well,
I
you
want to
look
jump.
fantastic.
It's the filter. No, it's the filter. All right, let us jump right in. So first of all, Kristen, who are you? Where are you from? Give us the tea.
Sure. So my name is Kristen. Really happy to be here. I'm 40 years old. I'm originally from Jersey, but I live in Burbank, California. And I am a television executive producer and educator.
I love that. Okay, so give us the before Allison, right? Like BA, before Allison.
Sure.
What was going on in your dating and relationship
Sure.
life before you even consider getting and hiring a coach?
Okay. So before hiring you, I would consider myself a very successful woman, community woman, but my personal life I felt like was in the I always had situationships but couldn't get to commitment. And I was really trying to figure out why. I feel like I'm a woman of integrity, a woman of heart, and I just couldn't figure out why I was not getting over the hump to successful relationship and also partnership that I could trust. So that's where I was before meeting you.
Excellent. So, how many, what do you say, months, years were you in relationships that weren't going to the next level?
Wow. I would say at least 15 years. I want to say my mid 20s to late 30s, I feel like I only had one relationship that I would consider a commitment, and that person wasn't a match for me. And then everyone else, it was like I loved them, but couldn't, like I said, couldn't figure out how to get it to the next level. It didn't seem like the person was willing to have commitment. They enjoyed my time, they wasted my time, they enjoyed having, going out with me and things like that. And we had a good time, but it wasn't like we were moving to the next level.
Got it. Understood. So tell me, what was the straw that broke the camel's back for you to say, you know what? I've been doing this thing for 15 years. It's been situationship or it's been a relationship that's not really growing. I don't have the answers, Sway. I need to work with somebody who does. What was the straw that broke the camel's back?
Yeah, so the straw that broke the camel's back, two things. One, actually, I went through a really bad situation career-wise where I felt like I was really exhausted and didn't have anything to show for myself outside of career. So that was one thing that happened. I would say a second is that I welcomed someone back into my life that I really liked in my mid-20s, and then got my heart broken and realized that he was not available to me. He was not ready for commitment, not like he was not trying to be in commitment at
Mhm.
all. And I really thought that he had come back to basically like do a happily ever after. So I was completely stunned to find out that he was not available to me at all.
Mhm.
And so that year, this was end of 2023, I had a conversation with a second person as well. And I was like, what is it that you want to do? And it was the first time I really heard, like, no, Kristen, I'm not ready for relationship. There's nothing
Mhm.
wrong with you. It's like, I'm not ready. And so when I got to you, I have finally really listened to the two people that I felt like I was emotionally available for years. I have finally put them to the
Mhm.
side, and I said, I'm ready to meet someone new in a real way. Like a lot of people say, oh, I'm ready to try something new, but you still have the stragglers
Yes.
like in your heart. You're still accepting text messages from them. You're still accepting calls from them. And by the time that I got to you, I said, you know what? There's somebody new out there for me. And I'm going to make sure that my heart is available and that I can move forward.
I love that.
Yeah.
So it was again the work, your work experience of feeling
Yes.
like I've accomplished this, but this other part of my life is just not fulfilled, is not where I want it to be. And then
Yes.
again, this person circling back, you thinking, okay, like this is the comeback, this is the correction,
Mm-hmm.
right? This is the, I don't know, retribution, whatever.
Right.
And then it
Right.
wasn't, and you're like, you know what, I need to do something different. All right.
Yes.
So I remember when we did our consultation, you did share with me that you had a friend who
Mhm.
worked with someone who got married. So can you tell
Yes.
us about that conversation and what kind of moved
Sure.
you towards a dating coach?
Absolutely. So I just shared it around September 2023. I have finally gotten rid of the stragglers. So I was very happy finding joy for myself as a single woman. And my very close friend said to me, Kristen, I know how much you want love. I'm going to tell you something that I haven't told many people. I had a dating coach before I found my husband, and they had just gotten married in 2023. And I said, girl, if anyone else had told me that they had a dating coach, I would have laughed them outside of my house, but because I love you and because I've seen your journey, I've seen what you've gone through, you know what? I'm willing to try
Mhm.
this. And so the very next morning, I started looking up coaches. I did not go with hers. I looked up maybe five, and your page really spoke to me. And I reached out to a couple people, but I really liked the way you responded to me. You were quick, you were to the point, but you also were really warm hearted. So I remember we had an appointment scheduled for a Monday, but you had actually reached out to me and said, hey, girl, I have some time this Friday. Let's see if we can meet. We ended up not having the same schedule, but just the fact that you had taken that time to personalize like make a personal touch, I really appreciated that. And I was like, okay, I think that let me see how this goes. And I enjoyed our consultation. So then we went from there.
Okay. So now you said some things. You said two things.
Hmm.
First, it was that your friend was like, I haven't shared this with anybody. I wouldn't normally. I've kept this quiet. And then you also said you perhaps would have laughed someone out of the house. Talk to me about this secrecy. Like what is it about keeping us quiet from the masses?
Yeah, so I feel like prior to, because now I feel like I sing your praises all the time. I have no problem telling anybody that I worked with you and continue to chat with you. But I would say that with her, I was really surprised that she actually hadn't shared much, because I feel like she's a pretty, public person. But I do think that people just assume that we're going to just find love somewhere and that we just stumble upon it. But just like we have coaches for other things like exercise and career coaches, tutors for our children, things like that, we also need to be able to spot our blind spots with dating. So I feel like I'm so glad that I listened to her. I'm so glad that I trusted her. But also for myself, now having worked with you, I literally tell everybody, because there's so many people that want love and they can't figure it out. And I have no problem. I've literally stopped birthday parties. Like, we'll be at a dinner and I'm like, hey girls, like, hey ladies, you may want to consider a dating coach, because Allison, it did not take us long. Like, the fact that I can look at your page and see my first testimonial, which is, oh, I'm having fun on first dates, to now being engaged,
Come on,
like,
somebody. Come on,
quickly,
somebody.
you know what I mean? And so I'm just like, please, I remember saying in that video, run, don't walk. And I
Mm-hmm.
really mean that. Let's stop wasting our time. If you want love, listen, like, Allison got some keys to share.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really, yeah, I'm just really grateful to be here, because I think more people need to share publicly and openly. It's okay to have support, and you should have support.
Yeah. I see Andreen says, I think it's probably taboo to get a dating coach because it comes off as desperate. I think that's why people are quiet about getting a professional dating coach. And I can see that angle, but let me tell you, you know what's desperate to me? Answering phone calls from men who don't want you, replying to text messages from guys who are playing in your face, begging someone to be with you who has clearly showed you that they don't have the
I'm
capacity.
trying to tell
I
you.
right. I think desperate looks like praying for something, but then not doing the activity in order to get there. Quietly hating, and this is not you, Adrian. This is me. I was at a wedding. This was 2017. I'm at a wedding. I'm by myself. I wasn't allowed a plus one because I didn't have a fiance or a husband, and those were their rules. And I respect it and I honor it, right? So I could not bring my little rinky dink boyfriend that I had at the time anyway, who didn't deserve to go. And I'm sitting there in the cocktail hour, and I'm like, damn. Like, I don't even want to stay. Like, I don't even want to be around all these people.
Mm,
They're all happy. I'm not happy. I don't want to be here. And not that I was hating on the couple themselves,
yeah,
but just being a negative Nancy. That's what's desperate to me, right? The desperation of hoping and praying that things are just going to fall into your lap and doing nothing about it. Like that's what I find pathetic. So
yeah,
I can understand you being quiet. I'm not even mad about being quiet. But what I don't understand is seeing someone who can help and then not getting the help because you'll feel desperate or you'll feel like that part I don't. Maybe don't tell the world, but don't not do something knowing that's what's in your best interest. What were you gonna say?
yeah, I would agree. Also, at that time when I was hiring you, I had really focused on my joy. And I basically said, if it's not on 10, it's out of here. And that is in every area of my life. And if a man is not giving me the type of energy that I deserve, I'm a loving person. There's so many people I know that are loving, giving, really, really generous. There are men out here that are giving, that do want to be directional. My fiance, the one thing that I'm just like
My
so grateful that I was
fiance,
able, like,
my
yes,
fiance.
yes,
Okay,
the
go ahead,
fact
go
that,
ahead.
like, he was so clear and is so clear with me. I had never experienced that before. The love that I have now, I have never, ever experienced before. And so it's why I love telling people, yeah, you may need a dating coach, and it's okay.
Mm,
Like, there's nothing wrong with getting support and getting help. And if you can cut down the time, we've been spending so much time with these dudes. It's like, you know what? Let me spend some time getting to the quick. Like, I genuinely, when I finished your class, I was just grateful to have a good experience and really learn to have fun dating. Like, I was really okay with that.
mm.
I had no idea the fact that I worked with you, December 2023, January 2024. I met my fiance February 2024, like 2 weeks after we had finished. And I remember saying to you, like, if my intuition serves me right, this man is about to like move in like a tidal wave. And that was true.
Yes, yes.
you know.
So there are new folks who are coming into the live. Hello, everyone who's coming in. My name is Allison, and I am a certified dating and relationship coach. I've been doing this for 5 years, and I've been working with busy professional women like Kristen, like you, to help you attract and keep the partners that you deserve. One of the things that seem to be super taboo in the dating and relationship space are people who are hiring help to get them to cut the line, to cut down their time so that they are dating with intention. They're meeting like-minded, equally yoked, marriage-minded men who want the same things as them, and they are getting into the healthy relationships that they deserve like this. So let's talk about your timeline. I know you kind of you started it, but
Mhm.
can we really hammer down the timeline? So
Sure.
you started coaching, then you met your fiance, you dated for X amount of time, and now you're engaged. Give us the timeline.
Sure, sure. So I was in your 8-week course from December to January. I met him 2 weeks after we finished in February. Our first meeting was actually Valentine's Day, February 14th of 2024. We were talking for 90 days almost, like it's so funny because what you teach, I feel like my fiance also was right in line with that for himself.
Mm-hmm.
So, you need to be in a couple of situations to know, is this somebody you really want to move forward with? So we became official in May of 2023. I'm sorry, May 2024. And very quickly, I was like, man, the heart of this person is solid. I like who he is. He's very directional, very loving, all of the things. And we were going through some things, actually not in our relationship, but just dealing with family and being able to be team for each other.
Mm-hmm.
And that really has stood out for both of us. So I feel like around September of 2024, he started asking me like, okay, so, how do you feel about the direction of our relationship? Where do you want to go? I shared what I wanted, he shared what he wanted, and then he started asking me about rings March of
Come
2025.
on.
And he proposed on our vacation for our first anniversary. He proposed on June
Come
4th.
on.
Yeah.
A man who knows. And I want to highlight where you are located,
Yeah.
because I always get there are no good men in LA, there are no good men in Atlanta, there's no good men in Miami, there are no, like, ain't no good men anywhere. But that cannot be. I shared a
Yeah.
statistic in 2023, there were 2.3 million weddings, which means 2.3. So that's 4.6 million people decided in the US that they wanted
Mhm.
to get married. So this idea that no one wants marriage, everybody's playing,
Mhm.
and depending on where you live, you have no chance at all. Again, you are in Southern California. This idea that no one's serious in LA. Have you ever heard this idea?
Absolutely. And I used to feel that way.
Mm.
I used to definitely always say, I'll win the lottery before I meet a good man. Like that's how I used to feel. And just being in your course, backing up before my relationship, I will say that just being on the first dates, being able to hear men clearly, hearing the heart of a man, what he is truly looking for, that has nothing to do with you, but has everything to do with the direction of his life. If he is focused about being marriage minded, family oriented, then
Mm-hmm.
you can like, oh, okay, we can go on a second date and see if our values align, see if all of the other things about him will, align with me.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I genuinely enjoyed like listening to men in LA that wanted relationship. Even if they weren't for me, I was
Mm.
like, oh, there are some dudes out here.
I
Okay, like I'm just
remember I remember you
yeah.
sharing that in group. You're like, yo, like, even if there was a guy who I don't remember exactly what, I think his employment was questionable, right?
Uh-huh.
His Remember this guy, his
Yes.
employment was questionable, but you said, but no, like, he's a genuinely good person. He wants, these are the things that he wants. He's just not prepared to show up
Yeah.
that way for me, and I'm sure when he is ready, he'll show up that way for somebody else. And you were
Yeah.
able to notate this within a few dates.
Yeah, it was that. I remember a lot of the guys that I was talking to were marriage minded, believing in God, really focused on getting themselves together. And then the couple of folks, I loved your course because there were two guys that I was talking to for a little while that I had no business talking to because they hadn't said that they wanted commitment, but I had fallen into the pattern of like, oh, he's cute. He has, I like what he does for a living, but if he doesn't have time for you, baby, then it's not going to happen. And
Absolutely.
being able to have that happen in a couple of conversations and really see that for myself, like, oh, that's a pattern that I used to have. Okay, let me revert back to what Allison is telling me to do. And in these first couple of conversations, we need to be talking about X, Y, and Z before I continue to even have my ears perked up to this person. So I was
Yep.
able to learn while doing. I feel like also I just have fun with it. Ladies, if you get into this course, it's literally like, you know what? Let me take 8 weeks and just do something different. So I really felt like what you were sharing, the lessons that you were sharing, I thought, how can I translate it for my life? And let me just make sure I'm really doing the
Yeah.
homework.
Yeah.
So I had a great time being able to just be like, wow, okay, so there are men out here. There are men out here that are also hurt and trying to figure it out. I didn't continue talking to this one guy, but I remember we had a first conversation and he spent the entire time dogging the dating sites, but it was really because he was hurt. You know,
Mm,
like and so I had to say, hey, we ended up not even going on a date, but I had to say, like, hey, it's gonna be okay. And I hadn't felt that level of empathy for men. It had always been on the women's side, but it was the first time I really said, oh, these guys are out here doing the same things, trying to figure it out. Perhaps they need a dating coach.
mhm.
You know, like they're trying to figure it out as well. So our experience gave me a whole different perspective on dating.
Talk to me about what you learned in the program. I know it's been over a year and a half,
No,
but
I
do you
know.
remember, like, what are some of the things that you learned that you were able to put into action immediately?
Yeah, I would definitely say understanding the differences between non-negotiables and preferences. I
Mm,
think that a lot of people, this is what I tell a lot of my women friends now. I think a lot of us are using these preferences of height or certain build, certain structure, certain pay scale, or whatever the case may be, and not really thinking about what's the heart of this man? What are the non-negotiables that I have to stick to? Back in the day, your class really showed me that, you know, maybe somebody would have four of the six non-negotiables, but the two, I can't just leave him on the wayside because he gets the other four. Like if he's
yeah,
not all six, he can't move
yeah,
forward. And like I said, I really wanted to have fun in your class. So I said, for this 8 weeks, if it's not all six, he's out of here. And I
yeah.
have to trust that. And so that was something that I applied immediately that I could definitely see. So again, when I met my fiance, no, I was not. I actually genuinely, I wasn't even on a date, to be honest with you, but I was like, oh, the non-negotiables, like it, because we have been going over them so much, they were in my head and my heart to be
Yes,
able to recognize the type of man that I should get to know.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that. I have a fear as a coach that creates all this content that people are getting bits and pieces. Obviously, they're not getting a cohesive
Hmm.
program unless they invest in it,
Hmm.
right? And so I have this fear that some people are thinking like, Allison is telling us to settle and blah blah blah. And I feel like it's actually the exact opposite, right?
Right.
Like what I am requiring my clients to do is to get super clear about what are the must-haves and then stick to them. Now we're actually going to be a little tougher. We're
Yeah.
going to stick to them and then recognize what the preferences are, and then that might be some icing on the cake. But it's not the stuff that's going to give you the longevity. It's not the stuff that's going to give you the slow burn. And if you want to be in a healthy, long-term committed relationship that leads to marriage for the rest of your life, then that means that we need to focus on the things that are going to sustain you for the
Yeah.
rest of your life.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'm so glad that you said that, because that's always a fear of mine. Like, oh, like, no,
No.
actually, just, yeah, go ahead.
I
Mm-hmm.
really think that a lot of people actually think the preferences are non-negotiables. Like
Yeah.
they switch the lists and they don't really understand. And I can say that because I've been there, or I can say that because I've listened to some of my friends. Even now, you know, our conversations are different because people ask me about my experience with you, my experience as, you know, being in a relationship and knowing that we were going to be headed towards marriage. Thinking to myself, okay, what are the differences? And I can definitely say, like, oh, back in the day, I used to excuse, okay, he has five and not the sixth
Mm-hmm.
one. And then I'm paying for
Yep.
it a year later because I'm like, oh man, I should have held to that.
Yep.
And I think too many of us make like excuses and go, well, he's close enough. No. And it's not even about having a list. It's about having qualities that really work for you. And it's why I keep saying your class taught me to pay attention to the heart of a man. That's
Mm-hmm.
very different than all of these other, you know, like he needs to have this and this and it's like, no, is this person patient? Is he kind? Is he family oriented? Is he someone that when he says something, he's going to do
Mm-hmm.
it? Man, I tell you so much. People let these guys slide, and it's women too. I'm not even gonna say it's just one of the other, but I feel like your words and your actions need to match and be accountable, but also hold your partner accountable as well. And if that person is not willing to make shifts to be genuine with you, then he needs to go.
Yeah.
Period. And so that's something that I really feel like, in particular, understanding that the non-negotiables and the preferences are not interchangeable.
Understood. My last question before I let you go. If, I hope I'm
Oh,
not
I'm
overstepping.
enjoying this.
Oh, okay, okay. So I can keep talking. Though I just didn't want to hold you up because I'm like running rampant. So question for you, if you don't
Mhm,
mind me asking around the financial investment, right? So I know
mhm,
that again, there was some other coaches who were in the
mhm,
running. And you ended up working with me financially. What did that look like? Were we comparable?
mhm.
And then do you remember how much you invested and was it worth it?
Absolutely. So I still think that your invest is worth the investment. I definitely love that it is something like you're going to have to make an investment and jump, but it's worth it. If you're going to bed at night and you're like, man, I really want marriage, I really want family, I really want children, try something new. It's never a guarantee. Nothing is ever a guarantee. So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, this is gonna absolutely get you where you want to be, but it'll get you close.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't find the person now, you'll be ready to recognize the person soon.
Yeah.
So I would definitely say, to answer your question, I feel like your price point is definitely very fair and very reasonable for your time. The level of access that you're able to get, ladies, is like I could text Allison, you got back to me within 15 minutes or less
Mm.
every single time that I reached out to you. And I was very impressed by that. And I'm not just saying that because we're on the live. I'm like, oh, I stand behind your service. I feel like you have quality, quality service. And also, I appreciated that even though we were in a small group, it was truly a small group. There was another particular coach I'm thinking of that we got into an intro session, and it was like 10 to 12 people. At a point that gets to be a little bit too much. And so
Mm-hmm.
I felt like with us, we had 3 to 4
Mm-hmm.
at a time in our session, but I also was able to have one-on-one time space with you by asking questions and you getting back to me. I think a lot of clients don't utilize that text
They do not.
feature. Yeah. So it's not like I was coming to you all the time, but if I really had an inquiry, I was really stuck with something, you helped me, ladies, we kind of work on like who's in, who's out. You were able to really help me get a couple of people off
Mm.
the list so that I could keep going and really, again, make it a fun exercise in terms of who is deserving of my time and who's not.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you brought up a really good point. Again, this is a live of transparency, so I'm sharing a little bit of my own concerns and fears, and all of us in the space that we work, you have your concerns, and one of them is I fear that when I'm working with my clients that they're not doing what I tell them to do,
Mhm.
and then they're blaming me for it. Like that is a fear I always have. There's a
Yeah,
client that I'm thinking of specific to. One of them, I just for some reason she just came to my mind and my heart, and I sent an email well after our time was finished, and I said, "Hey girl, just checking in, like what's up?" Like, and she said, "Oh hey." I haven't found anyone yet. No one's found me, but I want to be honest with you. Throughout our 8-week program, I was still dealing with my ex.
exactly.
I
Yep.
have very few rules. I actually encourage you guys to date during the process because then I can give you
Mhm.
feedback. Like you said, I can help you to decipher who's in, who's out. But dealing with people of the past is a no. You have
Yeah.
to come into this program single and willing to try something new, not old.
Yes.
And so when she said that, I'm like, oh my goodness. And I was so thankful that she told me because again, she's not getting results. So I'm getting like, oh my gosh, I didn't do my job. Like, where did I go wrong? What could I do differently? I'm like, girl, well, you're not following the rules and the regulations. And this is why
Yeah.
we are where you are. I have people who, like you said, they don't take advantage of the additional support. I'm like, you have to stick with it. You have to be consistent. I have a fitness trainer. I talk about it every week. I post reels about it all the time. I'm so proud of myself. And he and I talk about this because we're
Mhm.
in a similar space of being a coach. And
Mhm.
for him, though, there's no client who would turn around and say, oh, Dwight, I didn't lose weight. It's your fault when they know that they had a burger last night. and they know
Yes.
they had a slice of cake before they came in. They, like, when you're not doing what you're supposed to do. And I'm so thankful for you because you are reinforcing what I know, which is that if you follow the program to the letter, you will get results. Some people longer than others, depending on different circumstances, but you will get results. You who are engaged in a year and a half have another client who was engaged after 3 years. You will get results. So thank you. Thank you so much for that point. And thank you for making me feel
Absolutely.
better.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I really feel that the combination is being true to yourself and true to, if you're signing up and you are investing, it's not just the money, but it's also the time and heart. So when you said there were certain things that you wanted us to do, I was willing to try it. And again, make it an exercise, make it fun. I think a lot of times also people have so much pressure on themselves and they sometimes make it too like, oh, I need this to happen right now. And I think for me walking in like, you know what? I'm willing to try something new. Let's just see what happens. I was so
Mhm.
thrilled to know, like, oh my gosh, this really does work. Like being on the first dates and saying to myself, oh, okay, I can be honest. I can say to somebody, hey, I'm having a great time, but this other thing, this aspect isn't really working. Thank you so much for the date. I remember letting some folks go and the um I don't want to say power in a negative term, but just being able to have the power to say, "Hey, no, thank you. It was lovely meeting you, though, and
Mhm.
like I really hope you find what you're looking for." It was so empowering, I should say. It was
Yeah.
empowering to be able to do that and not have to feel like, "Oh, I have to ghost somebody or whatever the case may be." I would just be straight up to the point about what was working and not working, and I felt like I was really well received. So again, I feel like ladies, if you're like, you know what, I need to take my life to the next level, I say try it with Allison and see what happens. And, I enjoy telling our story. I really do. I love working with you. I think you're fabulous. I have nothing but great things to say.
Mhm.
And again, that was even right after the program. So again, when we're talking about this right after the program, it was January 31st, and I was just excited to be out here. And again, the fact that like I met my fiance February 14th was like, wow.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Any final thoughts before you show us the rock?
I would say, let's see, any other final thoughts? Um, I would say that the love that you want is waiting for you. I would also say that yeah, the life that you're seeking is seeking you. That's all that's coming up for me right at this moment. You can have exactly what you want. For such a long time, I wasn't quite sure. I think that that's natural. Some people have the love but don't have the career, or have the
Yep.
finances and don't have that. So it's in so many different areas. But for me to be able to turn the page and say, wow, even for example, my brother said to me that a cousin on our dad's side was like, wow, Kristen, like this has inspired me because none of my cousins on my father's side are married at all. I'm the
Mhm.
first one to get engaged, and there's so many cousins of ours for our generation. And to hear that, it's like, wow, you get a chance not only to have fun in your life, but like break certain cycles in your family. So when you think about like the larger um just the larger impact of
Yes.
you finding love. It's been so inspiring. Us being able to share that we're engaged. It's like, girl, the whole other thing as well is so many people come out of the woodworks like, Kristen, you held true to what you wanted. So many people have told me that. Male friends and female friends are both like, congratulations, girl. Like, you did not settle. You had the love of your life. And, don't settle. So many people just be like, okay, I'm just going to pick, Joe Schmo. No, you get to have the life that you want. So
Mm.
that's what I have to say. If anybody else has any other questions, even after this live, please feel free to hit me. But please go to Allison. Please, if you are on here and you've been on here, you're like, listen, I'm trying to have
Girl.
when we talk about those Christmas pajamas. First of all, actually, you've been following this journey because you post all the time. You posted my first testimonial and I said, girl, I'm going to send you some Christmas pajamas. I got approval from my fiance, who was then my boyfriend. I was like, can I send her our Christmas pajamas? We had those, like, it was just like so fulfilling to be able to do that. And then now we are engaged. So I can show you.
Yes. Ah, it's so pretty. It's so
He
pretty.
did so
Yes.
well. He did.
It
was
looks
like,
so good. I, I love that. I love that. You said, oh, you said something. I got to touch on this. And if you got to go, just
okay.
be like, Allison, come
No,
on now.
no, we can, no, we
Um,
can.
oh gosh, what did you say? It was so good. All right. So I have this thing, and I'm sure my followers, I'm sure they are so sick of me. Okay. So I have this thing where if I get, like I always have these call to actions like comment the word dating 101 for the masterclass, comment the word ring, right? So, and people, they'll get the automatic alert. So how it works on my end is I get a DM that's blank that just
Hmm.
says like this person requested the link. So now for fun, I click and I scroll and I see how long have we been in communication? How many times have they requested a link for whatever? And I swear I'm telling you, I have people from 2020 who have been
Oh,
requesting, join my
wow.
VIP list or download this ebook and 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. And but 2024 or after I leave them alone. But I will send them a voice note. I sent 3 of them today. I said, girl, it's Allison. Look here. We've been talking since 2022. I could have already had you down the aisle. What is the hold up? How many times are we going to try to piecemeal the free download, the free
Hmm.
ebook, the free
Hmm.
training, the podcast, the YouTube? At some time you have to say, you know what, these are great tools.
Yeah.
I see the line of thinking that Allison is taking. I'm seeing the results over and over and over again. I need to take a leap of faith. How many years are we going to be doing this? At some point, you got to do something different to get a different result. And I'm going to say this. We talked about the investment. It's a
Yeah.
few $1,000s, right? I'm very transparent about the pricing. You guys can click the link in my bio. You'll see it. It's a few thousand, right? Saving yourself heartache, saving yourself pain, saving yourself stress, saving yourself tears, saving yourself eggs from people who
Hmm.
you shouldn't be wasting them eggs with, right? And the financial benefits. Now we're buying a house
Hmm.
together. Now we have a savings
Hmm.
account together. A few $1,000s is a joke in comparison to what you get at the end. The investment of the time that you have with a loved one, someone that you can rely on. You got a flat tire, you calling your man. You get sick,
Hmm.
you get to change your emergency contact from your mama to your husband, right? Someone that you can't,
Yep.
there's no number that you can put on that. So y'all, we got to do something different. I love y'all. I appreciate you, getting involved in the trainings but at some point we have to say, come on. There's some point we have to say,
Yeah.
I got to do something else. This is helpful, but it's not
Hmm.
enough. I have a client who's in coaching right now. She did my dating 101 masterclass. I think it was $57 at the time. She did her dating 101 masterclass back in November. She went on her first date ever. She's a Christian, right? Super conservative. She went on her first date ever. Now, did it take it to the next level? No. But you know what? That $57 did something for her that she's never been able to do. And
Hmm.
that's what allowed her the confidence to say, you know what? I need to take it up a notch. I have to invest in coaching.
Yeah.
And just Saturday, she shared with me, she went on 2 dates with the same guy in the same week. She's never made it to a date number 2. She's never
Wow.
like you gotta do
Wow.
something different. And I love y'all. I
Yeah.
love y'all. But the free, at some point, we gotta do
Yep.
something different. I want you to get a result, but you can't expect to get Kristen's result on the free. The likelihood is slim to none. I'm just saying.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
and I would also say when you think about all of us who have some sort of business or something that we're supporting and you want support from people, you hate when folks try to get you for free. So I can't imagine how you must feel, Allison, like people coming to you freebie, freebie, freebie. And it's like, girl, either you're gonna step up or you're gonna step out. And I just put in the comments how many of us have spent thousands on Beyonce. I can speak to that.
Come
And it's like
on.
you going there to support somebody else's dream. If you have the dream of having a family and having partnership and really getting over the blind spots. I
Yeah.
feel like you exposed the blind spots so quickly. And yes, we did just talk about non-negotiables and preferences, 'cause I don't want to give away everything, but there
Mm,
are so many things that I was able to call upon that I tell my friends. Please go to her, especially if you're trying to figure it out. I'm so grateful that I went to you. Like, I can't thank you enough because the experience I'm having right now, I've never had.
I love
I
that.
have never had. So I love telling people to work with you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And double down on the Beyonce. We don't mind spending all that money. She ain't never gonna see you. She ain't never gonna hug you. She ain't never gonna kiss you. And I do want to say, and then I will let you go. This is not about buying a man. Like this is not
Right.
paying.
Right.
Like you're not paying
Right.
for a man. If he's not a prostitute, he don't know that you've invested in yourself in order to prepare for
It's
love. He doesn't know
about
that you've invested in
manifesting.
yourself
Yes.
to learn how to
Hmm.
navigate dating. He doesn't know that you invested in yourself to get your dating profile in order, to learn where the like-minded men are. It's not about paying for a man. It's about you investing in your education so that you can be prepared for the love that you know that you deserve. And if you've been getting the same results for 10, 15, 20, 25
Hmm.
years, you've been paying your own rent in full, your own mortgage in full, your own note in full, you've been dealing with
Hmm.
flat tires on your own, you've been dealing, you got you got to invest
Hmm.
in order for you to win. You've been dealing with vacations on your own. I just shared my story about going to weddings on my own, right? Shoveling my car out by myself. That was a straw that broke the camel's back. Was like it was a. I said I cannot deal with this person that I was seeing. I need somebody who I can rely on. You cannot put a figure on that. So y'all, I implore you, you got to do something different to get a different result. I implore you to comment or DM the word rings. You can click the link in my bio to apply to work with me. I do not accept everyone because everyone is not ready. So you
Hmm.
apply, and if we're a good fit, then we will take it to the next level. And
Yeah.
I do want to give you a special shout out because I know that there are so many people who have worked with coaches, me and others, who would not be willing to share. And the thing that really boils me up is that people will use this testimonial to make their decision. They'll use your photo to say, okay, a beautiful black woman like me, like, okay, then if she
Hmm.
can have it, I can have it. They'll use all the testimonials. They'll get results, but then when it's their turn to share, it's keep me secret.
Hmm.
No, you got to pay it forward. And I'm so thankful
Yeah.
to you for being willing to be present and to tell people that this is something that they need in their lives so that they take action. And I hope that they've learned from this because when they get the results after working with me, they need to show up too for the next
Yeah.
beautiful black woman who deserves to see that this thing works. These images are not from Google. They're not AI generated. I'm not stealing them off, right? Like these are real people who are getting real results. And I appreciate you so much for giving me the testimonials and to speak so highly of me because that just really warms my heart that there's someone who's willing not to be selfish and to pay it forward for the next one to see that this thing works. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. And last thing I want to say was funny, and you know this already because we talk and I send you photos and things like that. But Dre said he was like, "Well, it's another happy client." Like my fiance knows about you. He knows how I feel about the work that we did together, and I'm excited to, just be in a space of vulnerability to share that it works. I want more people to be able to feel love. We need more love in the world. There's so
Yes,
much going on. We need each other. And so I just really appreciate the time, Allison. It's been such a pleasure to share. I'm happy to do it. And I really thank you for being a part of this chapter of my life. I truly, truly mean it.
I love you. Thank you so much.
I
You're the
love you
best.
too.
And I cannot wait for the save the dates and the invitation. I will be flying across the country. Like, do not play with me. I'm going to Delaware in August for a client's wedding. I'm probably just going to drive. I will be flying across the country. Please.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Talk to you soon. Thank you so much. You're the
Okay.
best.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you.